Zach with Web3 Reviews. Thank you for being with us. Today, it is Monday, March 17th, and we're going to be talking about the crypto market. Let's go. Remember that none of this is financial advice. XRP sitting at $2.33. The sideways trend continues. Last week, we went down and we touched about $2. We went back up and touched $2.50. We're sitting at $2.30. We are still fighting to reclaim and go past the previous all-time high of $3.50. But I'd say things are picking up steam. There's been a lot of speculation that the Ripple SEC lawsuit is going to end any day, and that Ripple potentially has already paid the money, and that now we're just waiting to hear the news. The conspiracies are getting rampant. More and more rampant every day. We have a lot of Bitcoin maxis still crying that XRP is the chosen one. Check this out though. This is a different angle. From Fifi, it says, although you make it wealthy from XRP, BG123, which I think he's talking about Brad Garlinghouse, is a Luciferian. Free May's son. The Apostle John wrote about blockchain 2,000 years ago. Revelations 13, Pool Post 13, also 33. The percent of fallen angels. Be careful what you wish for, you might just get it. So then let's read this verse. And this is from King James Version, Revelation 13, 16 through 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So we're talking about the mark of the beast here, okay? We're talking about putting that RFID chip in your body.
I think it's very much part of my own integrity to have myself chipped and keep my personal data there with me. I actually feel in a way that it's even more controlled on my end, having it in my own hand.
So I have a chip implant in my arm, and I have programmed the chip so that I have my COVID passport, and it's always accessible for me or for anyone else really who wants to read me. They cannot be used for tracking anyone's location.
We're talking about putting that RFID chip in your hand. We're talking about merging with the internet, with the blockchain, taking a human and mixing them with AI, mixing them with the internet. Now, some people might say this is a good thing. They'll say humans have become too brain dead, and now we're going to need some form of higher communication, if you will. That's not through the spiritual, though. That's through the man-made to allow us to get smarter. Humanity's peaked. We've allowed phones and television to shorten our attention span to the point where kids can't even focus in school anymore. So now we see reading, math, comprehension skills. I don't want to say an all-time low because what do I know? But definitely in the last 20 years, it seems as though things have gotten worse from a standpoint of the education level of the youth. Now, I remember not investing in VeChain because I heard they were sponsored by something I didn't like, that being the CCP. But even more so than just the CCP, VeChain was helping the camera makers in the CCP with their social credit score, essentially round people up and take away people's ability to remain anonymous walking the streets. You've heard it such where if you jaywalk in China, your face will pop up on the screen and they'll deduct the money automatically from your bank account. So I heard 5 years ago that VeChain, VET, was in on this. Essentially, they were a part of the technology. They were running supply chain tracking for the CCP and for these cameras. And I thought to myself, I'm good, man. I'm good. I don't want to be a part of that.
Face ID is not only available in supermarket. It also works in a lot of penny shops now. Simply just look at the camera and just click confirm. Literally just takes seconds to check out. So what's the reason to resist it? If you think tapping your phone to take subway is good enough, here's something crazier. You can get on a bus by just scanning your face. The only thing you need to make sure is that you've got enough credit of your own. When vending machines take no more cash, instead it takes your Face ID that links to your online account.
We can really scare the you-know-what out of the global population, and we can gain control. We can start doing things like vaccine passports, and we can restrict your travel. I mean, people ought to be very concerned because now what are we going through? A potential bank crisis? Be very concerned about a central bank digital currency, where they can just turn on and turn off your ability to purchase certain goods based on your social credit score. That's what happens in China. Do we want that in the U.S.? I think there's certainly people, the technocrats in the U.S., that would like to see that.
I don't want to sell myself into that. And imagine a day in crypto where you can't withdraw unless you have this RFID chip in your body. But they say, hey, if you don't get this chip in your body, which we can then send messages to and ping off, then you can't withdraw your money. Think about that. Now, I remember using Nexo, and I heard rumors that Nexo was starting to ask people for proof of purchase. When you went to withdraw your funds, they'd say, hey, show us how you got it. Show us when you bought this. Now, me being somebody who has 7 years of dollar cost averaging, different exchanges, I didn't want to go through that. It actually really made me nervous. So what I did was I pulled out all my money and I prayed, and Nexo never asked me for proof of purchase. But what if the banks start accepting crypto, right? Because we now know that banks can now accept crypto. We're yet to see the first US bank to say, hey, come and let us hold your crypto. Maybe they don't have a good custody option yet. We know that Ripple's talking about building a wallet themselves. And I almost don't think that it's going to be a wallet for retail like we have Zayman wallet. I think that this is going to be a wallet for institutional use, where if you're a Ripple partner, you're going to have a wallet to store your funds. And let Ripple hold your keys. Yeah, not your keys, not your crypto. Okay, well, Ripple's a crypto company, and they've done a great job with their escrow over the past 12 years. So I think that they can be a responsible party for Bank of America and the likes crypto. Anyways, back to the scenario. Let's say that the banks start to accept your crypto and that you want to go in and deposit some so you could take a loan or start getting interest from a financial institution. And the bank says to you, wow, that's a great amount of crypto. Now, where'd you get it? We still have these laws right here where you can't deposit more than $10,000 a day. You think that's going to be different with crypto? Probably going to be even more scrutinized. Where did you get these funds? So you're not going to be able to just deposit them your full back unless you're really a big player. Because I'm sure that the questions aren't being asked of these big players. Okay? So that's kind of an interesting perspective there. I mean, in the near future, it might be that you can't cash out crypto unless you play by a certain set of rules. This is a conspiracy that the Bearable Bull would have been telling us about years ago. There would be blackouts. They would take cash away from us. And that then they would say you can't withdraw your crypto unless you get the chip in your hand. And you would have been like, damn, what a grim future we're moving towards. But no way, I don't believe in that. And now slowly but surely we have more and more people talking about it. I don't know if it's true or not. It could just be total bullshit, right? Brad Garlinghouse is a Luciferian. I don't believe that. I like Brad Garlinghouse. I don't want to believe that. Maybe he's not even talking about Brad. Who's BG123? I don't know. But I do know that my thought has always been that whoever ends up controlling this technology would end up having a lot of power over society in that manner. Cash is king. And when you take away cash, you take away the ability to move silently. To take you guys back to a story of the weed game, I had this buddy, friend of a friend, we'll say, and I met him and he told me he had just got out of a month of, being in jail. I said, that sucks. What happened to you? He said, well, he rented a car and he went to go make this deal and he was doing a weed deal. I mean, he was a institutional grade weed guy, but he would do it in states that weren't legal yet. So he was breaking the law. The cops, they pulled him over. And because he had a rental car, this was after the deal was already done, he didn't have anything on it. Maybe a little bit of shake, something that was incriminating just enough in a state that wasn't legal for marijuana. And they took his car in because he had the rental car and they were able to pull all the info off it and it had a GPS machine inside it, which said exactly where he went. And this is where the story went crazy. They found the location where he went and got the drop, and they went to that guy's house and popped him. They doubled up. And I'm all for having a safe society. We can't have people that are just illicitly buying drugs on the street, I don't think, because it gets grim. You get people who are dying of overdoses. You get weed that's being laced. When they made weed legal, we had the cartels go into U.S. national parks and set up shop deep in the national parks, grow weed off of the resources that were there. They would divert rivers, bring in whole operations to grow weed because it became a misdemeanor to do so. It was actually cheaper to do it there than bringing it across the border. Why are we talking about drugs? Why are we talking about cash? It's a crypto video, right? And crypto needs regulation. Just that way the SBFs of the world don't run rampant. That way the Link2s of the world don't run rampant. If you haven't heard, Link2 just screwed a ton of people over. 4 years ago, Link2 was really advertising hard saying, if you give us $10,000, we'll give you $10,000 in Ripple shares pre-IPO, as well as they would give you $1,000 in XRP. And this is when XRP was sitting at 50 cents. We sat at 50 cents for 7 years, remember? So you would have got back 2,000 XRP, which would be valued at now about $4,600, as well as you would have potentially received $10,000 in Ripple shares. The thing is that pre-IPO, what's the cost of a Ripple share? How many shares are going to be outstanding? And what's the cost basis of your buy? I didn't trust it. I wasn't an accredited investor. I didn't have 10K lying around for big purchases. I dollar cost average. That's how I buy my crypto. I'll buy $100, $200 at a time. I'll buy $50 at a time. I'll buy whatever I'm comfortable with. But it's never been a big buy as much as 10K at a time. That's not me. Everyone does things differently. Maybe you just want to buy a fat chunk and set it away. It keeps me in the game to dollar cost average. I'm playing the game. I'm skipping a lunch. I'm being frugal. It makes me feel hungry. It makes me feel like I earned it. Check this out from Milk Road. 15 years ago, you could receive free Bitcoin by solving a CAPTCHA. That's pretty cool. That's a throwback right there. I bet in the near future, kids of today, the next generation, won't know what a CAPTCHA is or a Bitcoin. This is going to be an absolute relic. Because think about it. If you got the RFID chip, why would you need to know what a CAPTCHA is? You don't think computers are going to be hooked up with the RFID chips? That's going to be the only way to beat the bots. Bots can already beat the CAPTCHAs. We've heard that about AI. AI attempted to get around the CAPTCHAs. It said, hey, are you a robot? And the robot said, no, I'm deaf. You got to give me another way to get past this. I'm not a robot, I'm just disabled. The robot's smart, man. It's able to lie. It's cunning. It's willing to do what you're not willing to do. Saw this being shared around in some of the discords I'm in. Trump insider whale opened a $380 million Bitcoin short with 40 times leverage. So it says it right there. This guy opened a giant short on Bitcoin. People are calling him a Trump insider whale. Here's my question. Michael Saylor can buy billions of dollars of Bitcoin and the price doesn't move. And everyone acknowledges that because Bitcoin's so big, the price doesn't move. But this guy has a $380 million short and he's an insider who's screwing the network. Let me ask you this. How easy can you manipulate Bitcoin? It took this guy 380 mil. What's Bitcoin worth? Bitcoin's at 83.4. Its market cap's at 1.65 trillion. It's not like this guy came in and had the funds to really get him. But what a story, huh? Ito Farina says, it was the XRP holders who went short, not a Trump insider. You know, the blockchain backer's been saying this for years. He said that the final call of this bull run, final dong, if you will, for this bull run, was going to be when all the money left Bitcoin and dispersed through the alts, sending us on one of the best alt runs we've ever seen in crypto. And XRP was going to be at the forefront of that run. XRP was going to flip ETH. It was going to potentially flip Bitcoin. And in due time, it is going to flip Bitcoin because the utility is there. The use case just isn't there for Bitcoin, okay? What, Michael Saylor's your use case and he's going to wear Bitcoin condoms and fuck the world? That's your use case? He's going to convince Amazon and Microsoft to buy his bag while he cashes out the equity in his company. That's all we're going to do? That's your use case? Cryptocurrency in a nutshell. We went from a peer-to-peer transfer system that could circumvent banks to being a Michael Saylor banker coin so he could withdraw equity? That's all you got? Wow. You guys are short-sighted. Go for all the money. Go for real-world assets. Go for tokenizing everything. Put it all in the damn blockchain. Have some vision. Don't be short-sighted. Don't sell yourself short. It's not even you. It's the crypto market. You didn't build this. Anyways, here we go. This guy says, I thought Bitcoin was the greatest. It can't be manipulated. Bitcoin is a pile of steaming dog shit. The faster it goes to zero, the better for real blockchains with utility, which may I remind you, Bitcoin has zero up. That's what I was just saying. There's very little utility. Okay. Now, Ethereum brought more utility than Bitcoin, being that they had the Ethereum virtual machine and you could build a layer 2 on top of ETH. You could have smart contracts. You could do staking. But hotel ETH is real, man. And the thing about the hotel industry is it sucks. I'm not a fan of Bitcoin or ETH. I think they're antiquated technology. So then you just go down the list. Oh, well, Solana has these moments where their chain breaks. The Solana chain, it's not very dependable. It breaks down. Moments of high network congestion, the Solana chain's been known to break down. You keep going down the list. You're like, oh, well, XRP is great. I took you guys through that Patrick Bet David video. XRP checks all the boxes in terms of technology. Instant transfers, free. All the partnerships with financial institutions you can imagine. Ripple put in the work with XRP at the forefront. And I really think that XRP is going to be a game changer here for this next financial system that's going to replace SWIFT. SWIFT is an antiquated messenger system from the 1960s. It's not the end-all be-all for finance. There's been some speculation on Silvio Macaulay, the creator of Algorand, having left Algorand, which I think is neither here nor there. I mean, the thing is sometimes you create things, then you outgrow them. We've seen technologies go on to do great things after people have left them. Litecoin and Doge. We never know who the founder of Bitcoin was. I want to say it's David Schwartz. Jed McCaleb branched out and started XLM from Ripple XRP. XRP is doing fine. I don't think this means anything bad about Algorand. It might just be that Silvio doesn't have anything more to add. He did his part. He's taking part in some conversations. And maybe he wants to move on to go fund something different. Maybe he's going to go find himself on the board somewhere on some government or some bank, which is going to help Algorand get placed. We've seen Ripple play that political game a lot. Look at Rosie Rios, for example. Rosie Rios, the train has left the station. And there's a tie between XRP and Algorand, and it's the VOI network. Now, some people in the Algorand community will say, well, the VOI network wasn't needed. We didn't need to have an Algorand 2.0 put out this early in Algorand's life. Well, Michael Arrington sure saw different. Michael Arrington has a ton of XRP, and he has for years. He's been kind of a spokesperson for it, for the wealthy. Somebody who founded TechCrunch went on to take part in XRP and Algorand, and then he branches out and he invests in the VOI network, which has a minuscule market cap. I mean, in comparison to an Algorand or an XRP, the market cap of the VOI network is very small. It's of the likes of Gala Music, which I'm a big fan of Gala Music. It's in the Gala ecosystem, Gala Film, Gala Music. These places are real ecosystems versus a fart coin, which has a market cap of 750 million. It's not even comparable. But in terms of how the token looks based on tokenomics, it is comparable. If you were to just look on money side based on market cap, community action even, you'd say, oh, Fartcoin is a winner. Fartcoin's the new Doge. It's got money behind it. It's got a community of people who really enjoy fart jokes. But I disagree. I'm here to tell you that the real is going to survive. Algorand, real world assets. XRP, going for all the money. We heard the other day from Patrick Bet David. I was wrong saying Swift moves 155 trillion a year. Swift moves a quadrillion a year. Whoa, XRP's going for a portion of that. All assets are going to be on the blockchain. Think the housing market, think Forex, think stocks. These are all going to be tokenized. An asset like Algorand is going to help facilitate those real world assets. And where's the VOI network going to fit into this? The VOI network's going to fit in. Michael Arrington saw this being a thing. He's not just going to ditch his investment. The market cap is so small. I really see the VOI network killing it. Gala Music, also a tiny market cap. Gala Music's a great place. Now I know that Snoop potentially left. Gala Music hasn't said that he's left. But Snoop has said that he's leaving Spotify to go to Tune FM. The last cycle, Snoop said the same thing, but he said he was going to Gala Music. We saw a bunch of stuff drop there, NFTs, an album sold for $5,000. Snoop famously made $35 million on this album. And potentially there was a handshake deal where Gala gave Snoop $50 million. That wasn't enough for Snoop. Snoop got over $85 million, as well as he's had artists who have had over hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales. October London won a Grammy. He has a ton of his songs on Gala Music. He has over 10 sellouts. Each one garners the artist over $7,000 cash straight to them. USD, not even in crypto. You get your crypto rewards based on streams. So he's been earning countless crypto rewards too. Thing is that artists are going to go where their music can be most appreciated. And if it's not Spotify, if it's not iTunes, where is it going to be? The artist, you just want somewhere you could drop. You want somewhere you could drop consistently, and maybe you'll get some monetary value for your work. Maybe your work will be viewed, but you want it to be somewhere where it has the chance for both to happen. And we've heard time and time again that Spotify's not giving a fair shake to the creator. Apple Music, not giving a fair shake to the creator. YouTube, not paying out well enough. Now, I can't speak on it. I'm not getting paid by any of these people. I'm just saying based on what I've heard. Okay? So there's going to be solutions through crypto, through Web3, which are going to even the playing field. I think we're still a cycle off from this. I think that real world assets, I think the utility tokens are going to kill it first. Those were the tokens that missed out 4 years ago, the utility tokens. In this cycle, they seem to be going. XRP seems to be going. I hope we blast through $3.50 and just continue on. Hugo giving us a bunch of posts on Twitter. Jumping into the FLR network. Hugo has been really active on Twitter. And hopefully we see some use case popping up on FLR too. We get a lot of talk about the use case on the FLR network. Now, FLR is supposed to be an ETH 3.0, if you will. We're moving into Web 3. We're moving away from Web 2. And we're moving away from ETH. We're moving towards ETH 3.0. What was ETH 2.0? I don't know. They tried to call themselves ETH 2.0. You remember that? You remember when ETH 2.0 was supposed to come out? I remember having friends tell me, wait for ETH 2.0. I don't know if it ever happened or if it failed. I guess they migrated to proof of stake, so it happened. But wasn't there a version of ETH that stayed around? Isn't there an Ethereum Classic 2 now? I couldn't tell you. I don't keep that close a track of it. Like, I'm not watching. We got Hugo talking a lot on Twitter. And I couldn't really tell you what's going on, but here we go. John Deaton's in on it, though. Let's see what John Deaton has to say about it. He says, Grok 3 explaining Hugo Fillion's thread. Because Hugo had this long thread that I could read it to you and then we'd have to dissect it. Let's just dissect it from the start, okay? We got the frog on the table. Let's just dissect it. PMWs are like a smart system that lets apps on FLR handle transactions and assets across different blockchains, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, or XRP, seamlessly without you needing to manually switch between them. Think on MetaMask, you have to switch between your network. It doesn't even allow for assets like XRP to be utilized. MetaMask is limited in what you can do. FLR responds, Grok 3 proves to be our best ROI KOL. Darken Edge, I can't read his name. He says, Grok, break this thread down for me. All right, imagine a smart contracts platform. Think of them as the foundation of blockchain apps like DeFi. The foundation for blockchain apps like DeFi or NFTs. They work like a computer system where they can build decentralized apps. But right now, these platforms have big limits, kind of like a slow computer with not enough memory. They can't handle complex tasks or a lot of transactions at once because of on-chain computational constraints, which means developers are stuck and they can't create everything they want without risking centralization or security issues. This makes sense. Hugo's thread is about how FLR, a Layer 1 blockchain, is solving this problem with FLR 2.0. They're introducing protocol-managed wallets in trusted execution environments. So there it is. PMWs and Ts. This is what FLR is moving into. This is what the posts I've been seeing are. PMWs are like a smart system that lets apps on FLR handle transaction and assets across different blockchains seamlessly without you needing to switch between them. It's not just bridging, but it's full chain abstraction. Wow. Well, let's see it, Hugo. Bring it on. Bring on the full chain abstraction. I remember hearing that FLR is partnered with Layer 0, which brings you between 75 different blockchains. I remember the Omni chain was going to be a part of FLR. FLR is going to connect everything, it seems. FLR is the great data infrastructure provider of crypto. And what they're going to do is connect every single blockchain seamlessly. That way you can interact between them. That's awesome. I want to use a DeFi protocol with my XRP without having to switch between networks. There is not a DeFi protocol on XRP. Let's go. I'm rooting for the FLR networks. I'm rooting for Songbird. FLR has rebounded from the all-time low. Songbird, still under 5/10 of a penny. Zach with Web3 Reviews, thank you for being with us. Stay strong. The crypto market's going to try to bleed you out, but you look around and things are getting better. Institutional buyers are coming. Use cases are getting stronger. Until next time, friends.